You want to win? And stop treating it like a hobby. Winning isn't for the man who is kind of committed. It's for the man who wakes up with one thing on his mind: being better. This isn't about motivation. Motivation fades, but obsession that stays, that haunts you, that keeps you moving when every other man taps out. When you're obsessed with winning, you don't negotiate with excuses. You don't wait for the right time. You don't slow down because you're tired. You hunt improvement. You chase progress. You build yourself piece by piece until your old self couldn't even recognize you. This is what separates you from the average man. You're not wishing for better. You're becoming better every damn day. If you're not obsessed, you're replaceable. If you're not locked in, you're forgotten. If you're not pushing yourself, you're falling behind. This is your warning and your wake-up call. Winning demands everything, and if you're not willing to give everything, don't expect anything. Lock in, dial in, get obsessed, because that's the only way you rise. Average effort gives you an average life. Look around you. Slow down for a second and actually pay attention. Everywhere you look, you see men, but not men built for greatness. Not men built for pressure. Not men built for battle. You see men who drift through life like passengers. Men who lost the spark years ago. Men who gave up before they even tried. They talk, they dream, they hype themselves up for a week, then fall right back into the same soft routine. That's the average man. He lives average. He thinks average. He dies average. And he's comfortable with it. But you wouldn't be here if you were built like that. The world doesn't need more almost tried men. More I'll do it later men. More I was going to start men. People like that vanish into the crowd. They don't leave a mark. They don't leave a legacy. They don't inspire fear, respect, or even memory, because average effort never created anything worth remembering. Most men only grind when life is sunny, when they're motivated, when things go their way, when everything feels smooth. But the moment life stops handing out comfort, they crumble, they hesitate, they pull back. They look for shortcuts, excuses, distractions, anything to avoid the grind. That's why they stay stuck. That's why their life looks the same every year. That's why deep down they know they will never become the man they fantasize about. They never step into the fire. They never face the pressure. They never push past the point where most men quit. But greatness lives past that point. It lives in the exhaustion, in the doubt, in the loneliness, in the frustration, in the days you feel like you have nothing left. That's where you build real muscle, not just on your body, but in your mind, your discipline, your spirit. A man who keeps moving when he's breaking, that man becomes a problem. A man who stays focused when life is falling apart, that man becomes rare. A man who grows sharper under stress instead of softer. That man becomes dangerous in a way average men will never understand. Think about it. Where do you think confidence comes from? Not from comfort. Not from easy wins. Not from pretending you're disciplined. It comes from surviving the grind. It comes from showing up when you didn't want to. It comes from doing the work when no one is watching. It comes from earning your own respect in silence. That's what makes a man walk differently, talk differently, move differently. Obsession does that. Not passion, not excitement, not motivation. Obsession. Obsession makes you unstoppable. Obsession makes you immune to excuses. Obsession makes you forget what giving up feels like. You start moving with purpose, with aggression, with hunger, with a seriousness most men will never experience. Average men can't keep up with a man like that. They don't have the engine. They don't have the fire. They don't have the backbone. While they tap out at the first sign of discomfort, you keep marching. While they're distracted, you're locked in. While they sleep, you're building. That's why obsession wins. Not because it's glamorous, but because it makes you willing to do what most men avoid. And here's the cold truth. If you're not obsessed, you're replaceable. If you're not disciplined, you're forgettable. If you're not committed beyond convenience, you'll never break out of the average life you claim to hate. This world doesn't reward the man who tries. It rewards the man who finishes, the man who endures, the man who refuses to fold when life gets ugly. So ask yourself, not softly, not nicely. Ask yourself like a man who's sick of his own excuses. Are you moving like someone who wants greatness or like someone who wants comfort? Are you willing to bleed for your goals or only work when it feels good? Are you obsessed with becoming the man you know you can be? Or are you just visiting the idea when life is convenient? Because the gap between you and the life you want is not talent, not luck, not potential. It's raw, relentless masculine discipline. It's the ability to suffer willingly. It's the refusal to accept mediocrity in any form. Average effort gives you an average life. Obsession gives you a life men admire and fear. So if you're ready for that, you're ready to become the man who walks into a room and commands presence without a single word, then cut the average out of your system. Burn it, bury it, walk away from it forever. Because from this moment on, you move like a man on a mission. You grind like you have something to prove. You push like you're done living small. And you don't stop. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. That's how great men are built. That's how ordinary becomes legendary. That's how obsessed men win. Being obsessed gives you tunnel vision. Obsession doesn't whisper. It doesn't knock politely. It hits hard and it doesn't stop until it owns you. The moment you become truly obsessed, something in your mind snaps into focus. You stop thinking about what's easy. You stop thinking about what's comfortable. You stop caring about what everyone else thinks because opinions don't feed you. Excuses don't feed you. Comfort doesn't feed you. Only results do. Only progress does. Only winning does. And when that switch flips, you start seeing the world differently. Distractions. They look like toys for children. Small talk sounds like noise. Entertainment cheap, meaningless, weak. Your life becomes a straight line, a knife-edge path. No detours, no distractions. You train harder than everyone else. You work longer than everyone else. You sacrifice more than everyone else. Because obsession doesn't care if you're tired. Doesn't care if you're lonely. Doesn't care if the world calls you too intense. You're obsessed. You're too focused. You're missing out. Good. Perfect. They're supposed to feel threatened. A man who's obsessed exposes every weakness in everyone else. Your discipline is a mirror. Your hunger is a mirror. Your energy is a mirror. And they hate seeing themselves reflected. You don't bend for comfort. You don't pause for approval. You don't slow down to make anyone feel better. You move straight toward your mission, every hour accounted for, every action deliberate. Every choice either moves you closer to the life you want, or its dead weight you cut off immediately. Obsession sharpens you. It burns away hesitation. It erases weakness. It turns a man into a weapon. You start seeing everything that isn't necessary and you remove it. The people who drain you, gone. The habits that waste you, gone. The thoughts that sabotage you, gone. The comforts that make life soft, gone. Your mind becomes a machine. Your actions become unstoppable. your presence becomes dangerous. Because when you're obsessed, you don't just move differently. You exist differently. You enter rooms like a storm. You speak like a hammer. You work like a predator. And everyone notices. Some get scared. Some get angry. Some try to stop you. Let them. Your obsession doesn't bend for fear. Doesn't negotiate with weakness. Doesn't slow down for comfort. Tunnel vision isn't chaos. It's precision. It's cold. It's calculated. It's lethal. It's showing up when everyone else sleeps. It's pushing when everyone else quits. It's sacrificing everything that doesn't serve the mission. A man obsessed doesn't wait for opportunity. He forces it. He creates it. He drags it to him. You stop chasing motivation. You manufacture it. You stop hoping for support. You carry yourself. You stop following paths. You pave your own. Obsession is isolation. It removes you from comfort. It removes you from weakness. It removes you from average men. The boy who wasted time gone. The man who needed approval dead. The man who remains a predator, a machine, a force no one can stop, and the more you lock in, the more the world feels it. It's in your eyes. It's in your voice. It's in the way you move. It's in the weight behind every action. People can ignore ambition. They can ignore talk. But they cannot ignore obsession, because obsession makes you unstoppable, relentless, cold, masculine, untouchable. Once it's in you, you don't chase success. You consume it. You take it. You make it yours. And anyone who stands in your way, they'll either step aside or get crushed. A man obsessed is not a man you negotiate with. He's not a man you slow down. He's not a man you reason with. He is a man who finishes. He is a man who wins. He is a man who destroys the idea of losing. Obsession gives you tunnel vision. Tunnel vision gives you power. Power gives you results. Results give you respect. Respect gives you dominance. And dominance is the language men with tunnel vision speak without saying a word. Once you taste it, once you commit, you never go back. Because obsession doesn't allow it. It doesn't forgive it. It doesn't negotiate. It only knows one thing: winning progress. The man you were born to become. And nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop a man who moves like that. The obsession turns you into a machine. There comes a moment when the man inside you awakens. Not softly, not politely, with fire, with hunger, with a raw, brutal force of necessity. The grind stops being a choice. It isn't something you do anymore. It becomes a need, a demand. It is the blood in your veins, the pulse in your chest, the voice in your head that won't shut up. You don't chase it. You don't force it. You are it. You wake before anyone else moves. You move while the world sleeps. Your every second carries weight. Your every action carries consequence. Time is no longer something that slips away. It's something you seize because you know that life doesn't wait, and neither will your opportunity. Discipline. It stops being effort. It becomes instinct, automatic, natural. No more bargaining. No more compromise. No more excuses. No weakness gets a seat at your table. Pain becomes fuel. Sacrifice becomes normal. Comfort becomes foreign. Failure, you strip it bare, learn from it, and crush it before it touches you again. Your body obeys you like a machine. Your mind sharpens like a blade. Your focus never breaks. Your resolve never waver. Hesitation gone. Doubt gone. Fear, a memory from the man you used to be. This is the point where men become dangerous, not because they scream, not because they try to impress, not because they beg for attention. They are dangerous because they cannot be stopped. They are dangerous because they've burned the bridges behind them. There is no turning back, no retreat, no surrender. Obstacles are targets, limits are myths, barriers are fuel. Everything the world throws at you only sharpens you. Every no only strengthens you. Every insult, every challenge, every attempt to stop you only gives you momentum. You move through life like a force of nature. Calculating, relentless, lethal. Every step deliberate, every motion efficient. Every choice carries power. Weakness, you recognize it in others, never in yourself. You become a machine, cold, precise, unstoppable, obsessed, relentless, ruthless. Nothing slows you, nothing intimidates you, nothing stands in your way, because obsession isn't polite. Obsession doesn't wait. Obsession doesn't beg. It doesn't ask. It takes, it conquers, it annihilates. And the truth, once you reach this stage, you don't just chase your goals. You become the force that shapes them. You don't wait for opportunity. You create it. You don't fear the fight. You dominate it. You don't follow the path. You cut your own way through the world. Failure isn't an option. Excuses are irrelevant. Time doesn't belong to anyone else. It belongs to you. Every second, every heartbeat, every breath, you move faster than hesitation, sharper than doubt, stronger than anyone who tries to stop you. You leave no room for weakness, no tolerance for mediocrity, no patience for those who doubt. Every move, every thought, every action is deliberate. Every sacrifice is necessary. Every challenge is expected. Every enemy, obstacle, and barrier is an opportunity to prove you are unstoppable. The man who reaches this stage doesn't just survive. He doesn't just succeed. He dominates. He annihilates. He bends the world to his will. He crushes anything that stands between him and his purpose, because obsession doesn't sleep. It doesn't hesitate. It doesn't falter. It doesn't forgive. Once obsession takes control, you no longer wait for life to hand you what you deserve. You take it. You don't fear the fight. You win it. You don't care about limits. You break them. You don't negotiate. You conquer. The man obsessed, he doesn't stop. He doesn't compromise. He doesn't rest. He is danger in human form. He is precision. He is relentless. He is unstoppable. And the cold, hard truth, nothing in this world can stand in his way. Nothing. Because when obsession runs through your veins, you're no longer a man chasing life. You become the storm. Winning demands everything from you. Winning isn't fair. Winning isn't gentle. Winning isn't interested in your comfort, your emotions, your someday, or the little stories you tell yourself to feel better. Winning is a cold force, a brutal mirror. It shows you exactly who you are and exactly who you pretend to be. Most men don't lose because they're weak. They lose because they're comfortable, because they want the reward without the suffering, because they want the crown, but refuse to crawl through the fire it takes to earn it. But you're different. You wouldn't be reading this if you weren't. There's something in you that refuses to settle, a voice that whispers at night, you know you can be more. Winning demands that part of you, the ruthless part, the hungry part, the version of you that's willing to bleed for the life you want. Because here's the truth. Winning takes everything from you. Your time, your energy, your comfort, your old identity, your excuses, and sometimes even the people you've outgrown. Winning requires you to walk alone. Not forever, but long enough to separate yourself from the men who never tried. It demands the nights where you work while everyone else sleeps. The mornings where you rise before the sun because the mission matters more than sleep. The days where you feel drained, exhausted, it done, yet you still show up, still push, still refuse to fold. That's what separates a man on a mission from a man who only talks about one. The man on a mission sacrifices comfort so he can gain power. He sacrifices pleasure so he can build discipline. He sacrifices who he is so he can become who he must be. And that transformation, it's not pretty. It's not glamorous. It's not something you can post online and get applauded for. It's war inside your mind, inside your habits, inside every choice you make. Winning is not handed to you. It's forged out of sleepless nights, quiet battles, and a level of obsession that scares average men. If you're not willing to sacrifice, don't expect to win. Don't expect daily results with weekend effort. Don't expect a king's life with a civilian's mindset. Don't expect greatness when you're negotiating with laziness. But if you are willing, if you're ready to burn the old you, cut off everything that slows you down and give your soul to the mission, then understand something. You become unstoppable. Not because life gets easier, but because you get harder, sharper, colder, more focused than you've ever been. Nothing can break a man who has already decided that he will not be denied. Not setbacks, not doubt, not fatigue, not failure. A man obsessed with his purpose becomes a machine, a force of nature, a threat to every excuse he used to make. Winning doesn't belong to the strongest. It belongs to the man who shows up when others disappear, the man who keeps swinging when others drop their hands, the man who sacrifices everything because he knows the life he wants is worth more than the comfort he's leaving behind. You want to win? Then become the man who is willing to give everything. And watch how the world starts giving way. In the end, average people want it. But the ones who actually win, they want it more. They're obsessed. They think about it, grind for it, sacrifice for it. Because winning isn't a wish, it's a lifestyle. If you want results nobody gets, you have to want it harder than everybody else. If this spoke to you, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and comment. I'm obsessed to show you watch till the very end. Remember, dreams don't respond to half-effort. They respond to obsession. See you in the next one.